What does a recession mean to the housing market, especially right here in upstate South Carolina? Hey guys, it's Les with the Les Walden Real Estate team, and there recently has been lots of talk about a potential recession in the United States, and I've heard some people talking about how that would impact home prices. Well, I wanted to share with you some facts so that we'd have that right. So the first thing is that a recession doesn't mean we're in a housing crisis. And of course, if we're not in a housing crisis, that doesn't mean that housing prices do not fall or do not collapse. So I know some of us are old enough to remember what happened to housing in 2008, but that's not the norm. That's not what normally happens in a recession for housing prices. Matter of fact, in the last 6 recessions, going back all the way to 1980, home prices only significantly fell one time out of those 6 recessions. Of course, that was 2008. And that's going all the way back to 1980. As a matter of fact, 4 out of 6 of those years, home prices increased in excess of 6%. So maybe even a little more increase in value than we would see in just, we'll call it a normal year. Another thing that happens during a recession, or tends to happen, is mortgage interest rates tend to fall. Now, don't get too excited. I didn't say they were going to fall down to the pandemic levels of 3%. I don't anticipate that. I don't think anybody ever anticipates that again. But they have fallen, and have fallen enough that makes a difference in your payment during those recessions. So what does that mean? Well, if interest rates fall, then the typical buyer can buy more home. But if pricing is going up, it tends to keep it level. So if interest rates do fall during a recession, a lot of folks may go out and start to look at homes, which would tend to drive the prices up even faster. So what I would say in conclusion is, if we do experience a recession here in the United States, I want you to know that during a recession, home prices typically increase and interest rates tend to fall slightly. So your real estate market still stays very strong. If you've got questions about this, or want to talk a little bit more about this, or have a conversation about how a recession impacts the real estate market, and more importantly might impact your personal property, your personal home, then reach out to us here at the Les Walden Real Estate team. We would love to have that conversation, help you understand more about the real estate market and what's going on here on a day-to-day basis. And then you help us understand what your goals and objectives are, and we can decide together if it is the right time for you to sell or buy a new home.